What's up, y'all? It's the extra large professor of Dad Cypher Edutainment. And I'm about to put you teachers and parents on game. It's time for you to teach your kids how to hustle. That's right. Teach your kids how to hustle. Check this out. It was a survey that just came out by Intelligent Group. They had interviewed or did a survey with over 800 employers. And guess what they saying about our babies out there, the Gen Z? They are saying that 1 out of 5 of those kids are bringing their parents to job interviews. Now, as an educator, you probably say to yourself, this is why students are mad and saying like this, the stuff I'm teaching is not preparing them for the real world. Well, in actuality, they maybe have a point on this one. So we have to think about this as professors and as teachers and as educators. We have to be willing and be courageous enough to go outside of the curriculum. For instance, we have to start preparing these babies for real job interviews. For instance, the number one question that a lot of jobs ask is, tell me about yourself. Do you know these kids will start telling stories about growing up or their childhood and that sort of thing, instead of finding concise stories that will highlight what sets them apart from other employees and that sort of thing. So we have to make sure that our kids know their strengths. Question number 2 that we have to work up with our kids. What are your strengths and weaknesses? We have to stop them from using the age old, oh, I'm a hard worker. Oh, I'm a communicator. We have to, it is important that when we talk to these kids, we show them how to do a show me story instead of a tell me story. Saying something to the fact that I can mentor and I am coachable, or I can be a person that leads the charge instead of saying I'm a good leader. You could say that I participate in active listening instead of saying I'm a good communicator. These are little tips that sometimes our students may not know. Another thing that we have to work on, remember I said strengths and weaknesses? Sometimes our kids don't understand that when they are interviewing for a job, they have to make weaknesses appear as strengths. So in other words, instead of saying something like, well, I come in late to work often and that sort of thing, no job will hire you with that. One of the tips that we could say to them is that, one of my greatest weakness is I set the bar too high, or I'm a perfectionist. And sometimes I have to give myself grace when it comes to working on projects. Again, we have to teach our kids that when they are talking about weaknesses, let that weakness be portrayed as a strength. Last but not least, and this is the most important thing, jobs now are looking for our Gen Z students to be able to demonstrate critical thinking and that sort of thing. So we have to challenge our kids by giving them scenarios. For instance, let's say I'm a Gen Z out there going for a job for the first time, and I'm trying to become an educator. I would give them a career scenario and say, how would you handle a classroom full of students that are unruly? And so what you're doing is basically helping our students to see themselves as problem solvers and critical thinking. So once again, our students are right this time. Are the skills that skills that we're giving them, is that really helping them for the real world? We have to be real with ourselves and give our kids what they need. Again, today, make sure you teach your students, your kids, the art of the hustle. This is the extra large professor with Dad Cypher Edutainment. I'm out. As a fatherhood coach and English professor, I maximize the transformative power of hip hop therapeutic writing for those who seek healing from father wounds. I specialize in guiding fatherless youth and dads to write vision and purpose. Dad Cypher, remixing the dad narrative.